Today I'm going to show you how to knit and purl with the yarn in back, and then I'm going to show you how to knit and purl with the yarn in front. This yarn that I'm using is a sport weight yarn by Arkansas Yarn Co. And this was custom dyed for me for a project by Lori Ann. It is just lovely. This one is called Girly Girl. It's a very nice tonal pink. And I am going to be using my Karbonz double pointed needles. I think these are a size 4 or a size 5, somewhere around there. Anyway, we're going to start out with knitting and purling with the yarn in back. Now the reason I've decided to do this tutorial is because I am working on a new design that has a section of seed stitch. What I'm going to be showing you is just a basic rib, a 2x2 rib, not the seed stitch. But I was thinking there was a time in my knitting career when something like seed stitch would have just driven me crazy because of constantly having to do the yarn in the back and then front and back and front to do knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl. But there are a couple different ways of handling this so that you don't have to do that. So I am a Continental knitter. I hold the yarn in my left hand, and I don't really tension it. It just kind of sits between these two fingers here. So I'm going to knit my normal method of knitting here. Knit 2. And then I'm going to work my purl stitches, but I'm not going to bring this yarn to the front. I'm going to keep the yarn in the back, and I am going to go around behind the yarn and down purlwise, bring that tip to the back and wrap around, just kind of dip under the yarn, and then pull it through the loop like that for my purl. And I will show you this again. Behind the yarn, down through the loop purlwise, rotate it back and just hook that yarn, and then back through the loop like that. So then I knit 2, and purl. 1 and 2. And I never have to move my yarn to the front of the work, which just seems much more elegant and streamlined, in my opinion. And it makes it actually kind of fun to work ribbing. Ribbing is one of those things that I used to just hate doing. I would just grit my teeth and do the absolute bare minimum ribbing that I could get away with, and usually ended up cutting it a little too short because I hated doing ribbing. But since I figured out how to work without flipping that yarn back and forth and back and forth, ribbing isn't so bad after all. Oops, it takes a little bit of practice. And when I first started doing this, I wasn't very fast. I'm still not a really fast knitter, but that is the basic technique for working with the yarn at the back. Now, on the next row, I am going to show you how to work this with the yarn in the front. And it's going to start, well, I'll do my regular yarn in back knits here for the first 2. Then, bringing the yarn to the front, I have 2 purl stitches. So I'm going to go down through here, wrap around and pull through just like a standard purl. But to do the knit, now I'm going to go around in front of my yarn, up as if to knit. I'm going to bring the yarn behind the working needle and catch it on my way through that loop. So I'm just going down, knit up and catch that loop. So here are my 2 purls. I'm going to knit, knitwise, catch that loop, so up. Which way am I going? That's a purl, here's a knit, here we go. Up through the loop, bring the yarn behind the working needle, the right needle, wrap around behind the yarn. Oh! Sorry about that, had some technical difficulties. So let's start again with the purls. Purl, purl, and then knitting up from in front. Get that working yarn in between the needles. Wrap it, you just kind of move that working yarn tip, working needle tip, so that you catch that yarn as you come through the loop. So up through the loop, catch the yarn, flip it through. Purl, purl, knit, knit. And I'm showing you both ways because sometimes it's just more convenient to work from the purl side with your yarn in front. Sometimes it's more convenient to work on the knit side with your yarn in the back. Sometimes you have a pattern that is mostly knits, but it's got an occasional purl in it, so you would want to work with your yarn in the back. Or if you're working on the purl side of a pattern and you just have an occasional knit, then you would be a little more streamlined to work from the yarn in front. So there you go. I have a 2x2 rib, and I don't have to keep switching the yarn from front to back to front to back. I hope that helps, and if you have any questions, please let me know, and I will do my best to try and clarify. Thanks for watching. Bye.